Hi everyone, I'm a sci-fi enthusiast. Today, I'll be introducing the movie, Equals. In the future, a world war breaks out. It only lasts 28 days. But missiles destroy 99.6% of the habitable land. Now, only 2 pieces of land remain on Earth. One is ruled by a powerful collective. The other is an abandoned peninsula. It's said that diseases run rampant there. People have become slaves to emotions and base desires. But things are the complete opposite under the collective. Architecture is minimalist and cold. Clothes plain and uniform. When women get pregnant, fetuses are altered to suppress emotions, turning every person into a work machine without feelings. Still, a few people unexpectedly awaken emotions later in life. This is called sudden onset syndrome, or SOS for short. Security takes patients to a secret facility for treatment. Those who can't be cured are executed. Silas is an illustrator. Since no one has emotions, his drawings obviously aren't for artistic appreciation. I noticed his drawings are always related to the news. They even come with captions and voice narration. They're basically like hand-drawn short videos, used to spread current events. After work, people in the collective also play games. But even games are stripped of emotions. It's a block puzzle game similar to a Rubik's Cube, testing spatial thinking ability. And it's the only game everyone is allowed to play. Silas has already played 2.224 matches. One day at work, something suddenly fell behind him. People gathered curiously and discovered someone had jumped to their death, most likely. They were also infected with SOS. Colleagues stayed logical, calmly analyzing who the person was, what the odds of death were, and whether someone could take over their job. Not a trace of shock or sympathy. Only a female colleague named Nia clenched her fist and bit her lip. Silas noticed something was wrong with her. That evening after work, the group watched a documentary. It was about a new celestial body discovered 790 million miles away. Everyone was serious and focused. Only Nia seemed restless. Silas stared at her profile, as if he was infected by her mood. When he got home, food suddenly tasted different. Even taking a shower felt strangely unfamiliar. Later, he even felt like he was falling from a tall building, unable to breathe. He didn't dare delay anymore and went to the hospital. The doctor explained that his so-called falling experience was actually what people call a dream. Then a blood test came back positive. Positive for SOS. He was indeed infected. But it was still the early stage. No hospitalization needed. He just had to take emotion suppressants on time. The doctor made it sound simple. But Silas felt immense pressure. He knew that if things got worse, he would still be taken to the secret facility and humanely destroyed. He didn't dare tell anyone about his diagnosis, and tried to act as normal as possible. One day at lunch, Nia caught a bee in her hand. She marveled that, according to aerodynamics, bees shouldn't even be able to fly, but they ignored the rules and flew freely. How wonderful! Silas stared at her eyes and lips, once again unsettled. SOS has 5 stages of symptoms. Stage 1. Emotions flare up intermittently. Focus is lost. Silas was in this stage now. Stages 2 and 3. Emotions overflow and patients develop light sensitivity. Stage 4. Patients want to express feelings. They crave touch and physical closeness, even intimacy with the opposite sex. At this stage, patients can't work for the collective and must be confined. If treatment fails, death is the only option. The collective continues to research medicine, hoping one day to cure SOS completely. A few days later, Silas panicked during a meeting. His sunglasses accidentally fell out. He had no choice but to admit publicly that he was infected with SOS. People believed that, at his current stage, it wasn't serious enough for him to wear a mask. That would be too extreme. But he had to sit apart from everyone else, and only use his own cup. They firmly believed that if the collective could cure cancer, they could cure SOS as well. From the very beginning, Silas suspected that Nia was also infected. From then on, he followed her even more frequently. At first, she denied it and quickly walked away. But human emotions can never truly be hidden. One day, Silas followed her again. Nia panicked and rushed into the restroom. Silas, almost involuntarily, followed her into a stall. Their eyes met. Their trembling hands touched. In the darkness, they tasted the forbidden for the first time. Nia soon came back to her senses. She confessed she had been infected with SOS for 1 year and 3 months. She refused to seek treatment and feared taking medicine, relying only on self-control and disguise until now. This physical contact was considered serious misconduct. If discovered, both of them would face harsh punishment. Terrified, Nia said they must restrain their feelings and wait until a cure was finally developed. But no matter what, the look in a lover's eyes can't be hidden. The next day, their gazes at each other burned like fire. They no longer wanted to run away, often brushing lightly against each other when passing by. And at night, when no one was around, they laughed quietly together in the restroom stalls. But secrets can't be hidden forever. One day, as Silas slipped out of a stall, he ran right into his superior. The superior had already sensed something unusual between him and Nia, hinting that if they continued, he would report them without mercy. The two of them fell into despair and decided to keep their distance. But since they still worked together, seeing each other every day made it impossible to suppress their feelings. Because of this, Silas resigned from his job at headquarters. He went to work as a gardener in the botanical garden. His position was replaced by another male colleague. The more Nia saw him, the more upset she became, almost losing control. Silas also lost all energy. Even food no longer had any taste. A few days apart felt like centuries of torment. That night, someone knocked on Silas's door again. It was Nia outside, crashing into him like a wild beast. She blamed him for abandoning her. Silas's passion ignited as well. The two embraced frantically and made love all night long. Afterward, they sighed in wonder, saying love felt like a raging tornado. Those were their exact words. After crossing that line, their worries grew fewer. Whenever no one was around, they dated like a normal couple and lived like a normal husband and wife. One day, major news came from the collective. Scientists had developed a genetic drug. As long as the serum was injected into the neck, it could quickly and completely cure the emotional virus. For now, it wasn't mass-produced, and SOS patients weren't forced to undergo treatment. But it was believed that soon all patients would be liberated and returned to the ranks of the collective. Hearing the news, the two felt fear and despair. After all, once cured, they would become strangers. All their love would vanish into nothing. Silas refused to accept that. He had a group of friends, all diagnosed with SOS but pretending to be ordinary people. Silas hoped they could help him escape to the primitive peninsula, to live a backward but free life. His friends spoke all at once, helping him work out a plan to escape. It was expected to be carried out within a few days. But unfortunately, an accident occurred during those days. The collective banned romantic relationships, but babies were still needed to maintain the population. So they held lotteries to pair up eligible men and women, and created test tube babies in the hospital hall. Recently, Nia received a winning notice. She was required to perform reproductive duties. The first step was a blood test. The doctor stared at the sample, frozen in shock. Nia thought she had been discovered with SOS. But the truth was even worse. The test revealed she was already pregnant. It must have been from when she and Silas made love earlier. In the collective, even holding hands was a crime, let alone pregnancy. Nia was seized by security and taken to the secret base. Most likely, she would be executed. Silas fell into despair again. Luckily, some of his friends worked at the base. At night, they helped Nia escape. The night before, a female prisoner had committed suicide in despair. His friends altered the system records and swapped Nia's identity with that prisoner's, so people would believe Nia had killed herself and stop pursuing her, allowing her to assume the prisoner's identity and continue living. Nia ran out, finally free again, but Silas knew nothing of it. He anxiously went to the secret base to check. When staff entered Nia's ID number, the record naturally showed she had committed suicide. Silas was struck like thunder from a clear sky. He felt life had lost all meaning. At one point, he even wanted to jump to his death. But in the end, he chose another way to end it all. Since escaping, Nia had been waiting for Silas at his home. Late at night, he finally returned. Nia wept with joy, but his response was chillingly cold. When Nia saw the scar on his neck, she realized he had erased his emotions in anger. Nia carefully asked him, "Do you still love me?" Silas's answer was, "I remember loving you," because his emotions had been completely erased. But his memories were still intact. He remembered promising Nia they would escape together, so he still coldly asked her to go out with him. Nia recalled their past love, thinking of a future spent only with a cold lover. Her eyes welled with tears. Unexpectedly, Silas reached out to hold her hand. Their trembling hands touched, just like the first time they met. It seemed those preserved memories had taken effect. Silas's emotions awakened once more. He and Nia were about to begin their second first love. Alright, that's all for today's program. Be sure to follow Sci-Fi Fans, and see you next time, Tilda.